Did y'all hear about the story about the young lady who lost her life while she was twerking? Yeah, let's get into it. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Virginie, and in today's video we are going to talk about Amiyah Cunningham and her story, because who needs enemies when you have friends like hers?
Yeah, and that is because her friends are saying that the driver of this car actually knew Amiyah and allegedly left this scene for a few hours before then coming back. Now, her family too devastated to speak publicly after this happened and after losing someone that is just so vibrant. But people are speaking out about this and sharing it, hoping that this leads to justice for a 25-year-old that was taken too soon.
She is a 25-year-old girl who is from Atlanta, Georgia. On April 2025, she was having a night out with her friends, pre-gaming, getting ready to go to King of Diamonds, which is a strip club out there in Atlanta. And it was 3 different cars that were heading to the strip club. And in the midst of them traveling to the strip club, Amiyah sent a text message to one of her friends that was in another vehicle saying basically the vibes were off, which was her discernment that was speaking to her. Basically letting her know, yeah, the energy is off, something is wrong, you probably need to leave. And so essentially what happened is, at one point during the car ride to King of Diamonds, they stopped at a red light, I'm assuming, and Amiyah got out of the car and then walked in the middle of the street and started twerking in front of the vehicle and that her friend was driving, and her friend ran her over. Yeah, her friend ran her over. Now, there are videos of this incident. I don't think I'm going to put it in here. I might just post the still images if y'all want to go see. It's on, I know it's on TikTok, Twitter, wherever. Maybe somewhere out here on YouTube. I do have the video, but I don't know if I'm going to put that out here on my video because it is just that graphic. So once her body, once she was ran over, it threw her several feet, across the street. And when questioned by the police, the young ladies who were in one of the vehicles who seen the incident essentially said that they didn't know Amiyah, and Amiyah was just a pedestrian. And so police later found out that it was actually a girl named Alex, one of the girls who she was in the car with, that ran her over. And so just take a look at some of these clips, because Gorgeous Doll has been handling the situation. She's been in close contact with the family, so that is the best person for information regarding this case. So just take a look at some of these clips.
When I first woke up, I had a couple of messages, okay? I had a message from her guy friend who threw the pregame that night. We're gonna say his name is T. Okay, so T messaged me, was like, this was my friend, I was the one who threw the party, call me so I could tell you what happened. Immediately I woke up, I called him, hey, this is Gorgeous Doll, what's going on? Maya had hit him up earlier that day. They all knew that they wanted to go out, okay? That was understood. Maya wanted to go out, he wanted to go out, they were going to go to KOD, okay? And he just said that they agreed, hey, we're going to do a pregame. And he was like, okay, cool, we'll do it at my house. She had ended up telling him, hey, I have these 3 people I'm bringing with me. He told me that he's something with the P word, like where you don't get along with straight males, but you get along with females and like gay males, right? She had said, hey, it's 3 girls. They're all cool, whatever. He said, okay, cool, but let's party. That's fine, okay? So he says he ends up going to the store earlier that day to get some snacks, and he got 3 Red Bulls, okay, and like some chasers. So from here or whatever, now the nighttime comes. Nighttime comes, Maya says she's on the way. She's on the way, they pull up. The one thing about this friend T, he shared his screen with me. He had a video for the whole night. He had it documented from when they got there to when they left to when he's on the car in the interstate. Everything, okay? He showed me every single video step by step of what he knew and what he had seen, okay? So from here, they're at his house, and he says when the girls first walked in, the energy was good. It was neutral. There was no bad energy, no nothing. He said the girls came to his room, sat down, they were passing around the bottle, whatever. He said he had given out, gave Maya her Red Bull, his roommate his Red Bull. Maya was drinking, having fun in the living room, twerking with his homeboy, which is on video. I could see that as well. Maya was the life of this party, okay? She really was. So at this point, he's showing me all of the videos. He's showing me everything about how the night went. So he says that about 30 minutes into this night, the girls that she brought were kind of seeming agitated, and not agitated in like a, you know, like what the fuck, like agitated, we're ready to go, we want to go to the club. And you know, in Atlanta, the clubs are later. So he pretty much was like, okay, well, I'm waiting on my roommate's getting dressed or whatever. So mind you, he had 3 Red Bulls. So one of the girls were like, damn, like, we want a Red Bull. And he was like, oh, well, I only got 3, me, Maya, and my roommates, right? So he told the girls, hey, there's a gas station. It's walking distance from here. About time you guys go there, he said that they didn't walk, but he would just let them know, like, about time you got there and came back, we would all be ready to go. Everything would be good. Okay? So he says that they ended up going to the gas station. When they came back, everybody was in fact ready to go. Maya, okay, he shows me on video that he had a friend who was going to drive. So none of them had to lap up or anything. He thought they were all going to ride together. So his friend who had this red truck, he told his friend, hey, take your subwoofers out of your car so all the girls can fit in your car comfortably, okay? Nobody will have to lap up. He has it on video. Him literally at his back door, his friend pulled his truck up to the back door and he's taking the subwoofers out. And then here's Maya on this side with a bottle of Don Julio, lit, my girl twerking, having fun. Okay, having a blast. Okay? And so at this point, as he's moving the subwoofers, he says they get into the car, but then he looks up and he's like, where's Maya? And he's like, all I could guess is she went and got in the car with the other girls. So mind you, this red truck had pulled around to the back door to be closer to take the subwoofers into the house. So he was saying, I think Maya had went to the front and got in the car with those girls. He said, so we pulled up to the front of the complex and we all like had, you know, lined up and drove out together. So it was him in the red truck with his other friend. It was this black Jeep with the girl who now we know her name is Alex. She's in this Jeep by herself. And then we have this silver car, which has Maya, the girl in the black, and the girl in the white in it. Okay, so from there, they all leave together. They're all on the interstate. Maya texts him, we're right behind you. Maya's also asking him, I'll insert the text messages. She's pay to get in, how much money are they gonna have to spend? And he's letting them know, hey, all the girls gotta pay 20, but I got you and I got one of your friends. Okay, cool. At some point while they're driving there, Maya texts him and says, I should have rode with you. Okay, so he tells me that while they're in the front driving, because he's the first car, the red, the black, then the silver, he misses the exit, but the black car remembers the exit, takes the exit, and the silver follows behind. So they had all gotten off on the right exit. He says they realize they missed the exit. He starts to turn around, him and his friend, okay? This is his version of events, okay? This is all that he knows. So he ends up getting back on the interstate, getting off at the right exit. He says that when he got to the end of that exit, they see like, oh shit, somebody's in the middle of the ground. Like, he's like, I don't know what happened. I'm thinking somebody hit somebody. He said, but then I see the silver car and I'm like, damn, hold on. Did one of these bitches like hit somebody? Like, he said he didn't know. He said he got out the car recording immediately. He didn't know what was going on. He just thought, you know, he did not think it was Maya. He started walking up and literally he saw it was Maya and he started breaking down, crying hysterically. He's just distraught.
Okay, so y'all heard some of those clips from Gorgeous Doll just basically talking about the case because she has been speaking up about this since it has happened. And an arrest was just made recently within the last couple of weeks. And what took the police so long to do the investigation or make an arrest, we don't know. But we just know that the power of social media really did push for them to get the investigation going. But who knows why it took so long? I don't know if they weren't taking the case serious enough or what. But who needs enemies when you have friends like this? And so statistics basically show women typically lose their lives at the hands of a lover or a close friend. And so that's why it's so doggone important to listen to your intuition, to trust your discernment when God tells you something. And of course, she didn't think that. I'm pretty sure she could not have imagined or thought that she was going to lose her life that night. And especially to someone that she considered or deemed a friend. Now, it's also important to know that there was some friction between Amiyah and Alex that night because Alex was apparently in a hurry to get to the club. And so it kind of caused a little bit of friction. But what I will say is that too many times I've heard too many stories of young ladies losing their lives. It is very suspicious and it's all revolving around a friend, right? Because I don't know if y'all heard about the other story about the young lady on TikTok. I think she was from Colombia, Mexico, or something like that, who lost her life while she was live on TikTok. And the story with that, basically, to make a long story short, is that she was expecting her best friend to bring her a gift when she was trying to leave her hair salon early. And her best friend was like, no, don't leave, I have a gift for you. And she ended up basically losing her life. And that same best friend who did not want her to leave her hair salon, face was seen on camera turning off that live. You never know what jealousy will make a person do, because that's all that it was. Amiyah was a beautiful young lady. She was the life of the party. She loved to dance. She loved to have fun. She had a light that shone within her that really had Alex, you know, upset. And it makes me think about similar situations that I've been in as a young lady, right? Where I was friends with people that I should not have been friends with, right? Where the red flags were there. And I'm not going to go too deep into my own personal story, but I had an incident on a girls' trip as well. And it could have went either way for me. But my husband is my spiritual covering, and I will just leave it at that. But I had a situation on a girls' trip where it got real sticky. And I'll just briefly tell my story. So I went on a girls' trip several years ago. And it's important for me to say in this story that I said that prayer to God earlier this year, basically asking him to release anyone who is not for me in my life, who is not a person who likes me, someone who I need to have in my life. Just please remove them from my life. I said that at the beginning of the year. Now, I do take accountability for some of the things that I did. One being, I invited myself on this trip. And that's the first thing. Never invite yourself. If you were not originally invited, don't go and invite yourself. Because I felt like me and this person we've been best friends for the longest. She's going on a girls trip. I want to go too. So I invited myself on a girls trip. And I take full accountability for that. And I should not have done that. And then the other girls, I didn't know them like that. They were all her friends. But I'm cool, you know. So it's just like I get along for the most part with any and everybody for the most part. We get out there, their dynamic is a lot different from like me and my friends' dynamic, right? And there were things that happened. There were arguments exchanged. And so I will say what the overall issue was is that I had gotten married and she wasn't married. And I know that was something she wanted. And so I think it was a situation of, and I say this because it was things of wanting to like see my wedding ring, wear my wedding ring, and me not wanting to do that. And it was a whole bunch of other things as well, right? But I now look back and reflect, and I think that was primarily the issue. And it got really bad. It got really bad. And I say everybody was her friend on the trip and nobody was my friend. So it's just kind of like, well, of course they're going to stick beside the person who's their friend. And we were in a whole nother country. So, and these are people who fight and get down. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So that's why it's so important. People do girls trips all the time. I will never do a girls trip. I will only travel with family now. And sometimes maybe you got to be careful with that. Because like I said, women mostly lose their lives at the hands of a lover or a close friend. And so I just wanted to talk about her story and get it out there because I'm just now hearing about this like within the last 24 hours. And it's just like, dang, like it seems like every year we're hearing about young ladies losing their lives at the hands of friendship. And so there needs to be a conversation about exercising your discernment and how to move in these friendships and these friend groups and just kind of be on the lookout, because I understand girl power. I understand, all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to be careful when you have a friend who's a hater, a friend who is jealous or has jealous tendencies, ugly ways about themselves, make little slick comments. You really need to watch out for that and be careful and be mindful. I still have the only friends I have in my life right now are my two best friends from high school that I've had since the 9th grade. I don't really have any other new friends. I have coworkers who I'm cool with, but as far as establishing new relationships like that, I'm cool on that. I have my husband, I got my family, who's been my spiritual covering, my spiritual protection, So this story haunts me. Every time I hear stories like this, it haunts me because it makes me think about my own situation. And I've been in those situations more than once with girls. And so I've always had frenemies for the most part. And I say frenemies because also watch those people who throw out them slick comments, like when you're looking good and it's like, oh, I hate you. And instead of just giving you a compliment saying, oh, you look really nice, but they say, oh, I hate you. Look out for those little slick comments like that, right? Just be mindful. You know, just be mindful of how you move out into the world. It is very dangerous for women, especially young women. It is very dangerous. Be careful. You have your whole life ahead of you. But I feel like this is a story I need to talk about and put out there and just raise awareness. I understand we've been taught as women to be close to our girlfriends and don't put our men over our girlfriends, but you got to be careful with both of them. Just to be honest, you have to be careful with both of them. And it's unfortunate that she lost her life. And it's unfortunate that it took the police so long to really get the investigation going and make an arrest. So, like I said, always, you guys keep it cute or leave it on mute. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.